Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? We're on day 8 of the 10-day Sculpt and Tone Challenge, and everyone is doing such an amazing job. I have to say, I'm so impressed with the level of commitment that everyone has given to this challenge. What an amazing group of ladies. And what's so lovely for me to see is the support and the love that everyone has inside the group for one another and the encouragement that people are giving to each other. This is something that I'm really proud about inside my backstage membership. And we have so many amazing women who are really supportive and genuinely care about each other in that membership. But what is so lovely inside the group that we currently have running for the challenge, so this is the page obviously, but inside the Ballet Fitness Lifestyle Hub there are over 7,000 women in there now, and you know, of the 4,000 odd women that are taking part in the challenge that have joined that group, this is similar. The feel and the vibe of it is very similar to inside the membership. So I'm so proud of that, and so proud of everyone that's in there that's supporting each other. But tonight I wanted to talk to you a bit more about hip flexors. So the hip flexors are the muscles at the front and at the top of your legs that help you to lift your knee. So for walking and running, etc. And those hip flexors, as some of you have found doing your abdominal workouts, are starting to feel a little bit sore. So I wanted to talk firstly about why that's happening and what you can do about it, and a little test that you can do, which I have mentioned to someone in the group, but you may have not seen it, and also how you can stretch out those muscles as well. If you're someone that does a lot of running or walking, cycling, anything like that where you've got repetitive movement up and down of the legs, these muscles can get very tight, so it's nice to stretch them out. It feels really good. So if you are finding discomfort in those muscles at the top of the leg, the front of the hips, when you're doing your abdominal workouts, that is more than likely because you are recruiting those muscles to help you with the abdominal workout. So rather than just focusing on the abdominal muscles, or in fact if you have slightly weak abdominal muscles, then we have this thing called core confusion, as I describe it. So you think you're using the core, but actually you're recruiting other muscles to help you do a similar move, but you might be recruiting the hip flexors or you might be recruiting the glutes. So if that's happening, that's when they start to get sore because you're using them. So for example, if we were doing an abdominal workout in this position and we were pulsing, if you, let me show you this way, and we're talking about keeping the knees and the feet hip width apart, if you start to pinch the knees in, then you're engaging these muscles at the top. And so you're recruiting those muscles to hold the body in that position rather than relaxing the legs and completely focusing on the core. So that's why that happens. But a really nice way to test if that's what's happening and to practice relaxing those muscles when you're doing your abdominal workouts is this. Okay, now, it's not the easiest move in the world. It does take some practice. You're going to sit up on your sitting bones. So if you wiggle around, there's the bones in your bottom, so you're not sat back on the padded part, nice and tall. And you're going to take your hands next to your butt. And you're going to completely relax your legs. So there's not going to be any tension in the quad muscles at the front, no tension in the glutes, no tension in the hips. You are taking the weight onto the arms. So if you have any discomfort in the wrist, this is not a great exercise for you, or something to practice if you've got any wrist injuries, because you are lifting the weight off the floor through the arms. So it's kind of a nice arm workout as well. But what you need to do in this position is engage the core, completely relax the legs, so nothing's going on with the legs. Engage the core, push up on the hands, and then pull your core in to bring your bum, using the mat coming with me, past the hands and back down again. So I'm going to come off the mat. So that my legs are not doing the work for me, okay? My arms are working to lift my bum off the floor. but my core is pulling in and squeezing me up and then back and back down again, okay? Without recruiting my leg muscles and my hip flexor muscles. So that's a nice one to try. That when you first do it, there might not be an awful lot of movement going on, but it's one to practice in the same way if you have done the challenge, that you practice those moves with the core control video at the beginning. When you first start, they can feel like the tiniest movements, and you can't feel it as well. But with practice, you can really try and engage those muscles and feel exactly what it should be like without using the hip flexors. So have a go of that if you're suffering with that. If you're watching and you can relate to that, that resonates with you, that you are feeling that, let me know, give me a thumbs up, and give that one a go if you haven't already. If you do have tight hip flexors, if you know you've got tight hip flexors, then I'm going to give you a couple of stretches now, a couple of simple stretches that you can do so that you can loosen those off a little bit. The first one, let me scoot back. There. You are going to come into this position. So you're going to bring one leg in front of the other, here. Lengthening up, you're then going to rotate the body and place your hands either side of the knee. So now your body is facing your knee. Your whole torso is round so that the knee is in line with your sternum. Okay? Then you're going to take the back leg out behind you, not to the side, behind you, and see if you can maintain that body, nice lift in the body, and straighten the leg at the back. If you straighten the leg at the back, the knee will come off. If that's too much, then you can keep the knee down, and you could bring the body a little bit further forwards. My head's popped off, thank God. You bring the body further forwards, and then you can try and straighten the leg with the body forwards. And then from there, you would work to bring the body up, and you can feel the increase in the stretch in the hip flexor of this back leg, so up the front of the leg. But you need to keep the body facing this leg so that you're not rotating out hips, otherwise you won't feel anything in here. You've got to keep the body this way. If you can manage that, and you can keep the body up, and you can get the knee off and straighten the leg, then the next thing for you to do is to work to get this hip bone down towards the heel that's on the floor. If you can't see me, because people are commenting, you need to swipe the comments to one side, because I can see from here people are commenting, so just swipe to one side. So stage one is keep the body down and try and work there. Stage two would be to straighten the leg in that position. Stage three, if you can, would be to lift the body, keeping the leg straight. And stage four would be to bring the hip down towards the heel. And that lengthens out and stretches the hip flexor there. Okay. Second stretch, which is nice, is you're going to come into a lunge position. So front leg, you see my front leg, you need to make sure that the knee is tracking over the ankle. So you don't want the knee to be coming in that position over the ankle, because that's a really acute angle on the knee. You want to protect the knee. So make sure your knee is over your ankle. This is at 90 degrees, your leg at the front. And then you're going to take up onto your toes on the back leg into lunge position. If you can't see me, swipe the comments. So in that position, that already might be enough to stretch if you're very tight. So in that position, you're trying to relax the hips down and straighten the back leg. Okay? If you want to take this one step further and take it more intense, you're going to lower the back knee, release the toes, and work there. So that might feel more intense for you. That might be enough, and then you're just going to stretch in this position. Keep the tummy pulled in. If you want to take it further, if the hip flexors aren't super tight at the moment and you can take it further, the next stage, but please don't do this if you've got tight hip flexors, you can take the body down in between the legs and reach here. And that is obviously a more intense stretch for the top of this back leg in the hip flexor. And then you would repeat on the other side. So number 1, you're here, straight leg. Number 2, you can take the knee down very gently, release the toes. If you don't feel anything in the back leg, you need to shift your knee further back and you're 90 degrees on the front leg. If you want to take it a stage further, you're going to take the body down. Okay? So those exercises will help you to stretch out your hip flexors if they're feeling tight. If you think you're engaging the hip flexors in your abdominal workouts, then try the other exercise. Okay, let's see what questions you have. Hi Erin, thanks for demonstrating this again. Yeah, Erin, do you remember when we did this inside the group? Yeah, this is me, unfortunately, had not been doing it quite right. Yeah, we did this inside backstage. It was a couple of months back now, I think, Erin, because you were saying that you were finding discomfort in hip flexors. I remember going through that. So Erin, how is that going? Have you been trying the exercise? How are you finding that? Is it helping you to try and relax the hip flexors? Let me know. Hi Maria. Maria, I hope you have found your workouts now with the new thing that we set up today with the Facebook Messenger. I know you were struggling to receive those emails. We've had problems in this challenge, which we have not had before. They're not, I mean, in some ways, if they were happening our end, it would be much easier for me because I could sort it out. It's not our end. It's that everyone has their spam filters set up slightly differently. So people's email service providers are knocking out my emails. Only particular ones, no idea why. So today we worked really hard all morning to try and come up with an alternative for you so that you can all absolutely make sure that you've got all your workouts. So that's great. And if you haven't seen that yet, then I'll drop the link below to that and then you can get all those workouts sent direct to you. Maria, you've got all of them. Brilliant. I'm pleased to hear that. We don't have many technical issues, but when we have them, we get them sorted out quite quickly, so that's good. Hi Michelle, hi Kim, hi Hannah, hi Helen. Helen, will these moves help my daughter with turnout for ballet? One of her legs always tries to turn in, bless her. Not necessarily. I mean, if she's got tight hip flexors, it won't do any harm to stretch her hip flexors, but the turnout muscles need to strengthen. So the best thing to do, because I don't know your daughter, I don't know her body, would be to speak with her ballet teacher, who should be able to help you with that, but she needs to strengthen her turnout muscles that, you know, wrap around the thighs, wrap around through the glutes, and it's tricky with children because they don't always understand where these parts in the, you know, what's going on and how to do it. So floor bar is really, really great. I use floor bar with my students. I still teach a ballet fitness class to my class. I think the age varies 9 to 16, something like that. So we do a lot of floor bar. Progressing ballet technique is another amazing program. I'm a qualified progressing ballet technique teacher as well. And that is something that really, really helps children. So you might, but she needs to work specifically on the turnout muscles rather than, you know, she's got tight hip flexors, of course it will help with that as well. So I hope that helps. Erin, do you think you can increase this range of motion in the hip as an adult? Yes, the exercise helped me better isolate the lower abs and separate using hip flexors. Do you mean your range of turnout, Erin? Yes, you can increase your range of turnout in the hip as an adult. My question would be, do you necessarily want to do that? How important is that for you right now? I know, Erin, that you take ballet class. Is that something that your teacher is commenting on? Is it restricting you in any way? I always think, you know, unless you are a young student who is trying to progress to the next level and needs to work on turnout specifically, as an adult, I would just work with your natural turnout if that's comfortable. But yeah, we can talk about that inside backstage, Erin, in more detail. If that's something that you want to work on, we can work more on finding some more range of movement in the hips for sure. But let me know the reason, because it's not always necessary, and we don't want to start feeling discomfort in the hips because we're doing too much there as an adult. Helen. Okay, great. Speak to her teacher, because a good ballet teacher that has been well trained, that has done things like floor bar and looked at progressing ballet technique and all of those things, will know exactly how to help your daughter with her specific issues. It's hard as a parent, unless Helen, you were a ballet dancer or a ballet teacher, the children don't always tell you what's going on. It may well be that there's something else going on that their teacher can identify specifically as to the reason why one of her legs is rotating in. And sometimes, in the class that I teach, a few of the children have issues, things like scoliosis, other spinal issues. I picked up a few months ago when a new student started that she had one leg that was much longer than the other. And of course that can affect spine. So I would definitely speak to her teacher, because the teacher, seeing her in a leotard week in and week out, will have picked something up if it's actually an issue. I can't see her, so I wouldn't comment. That's for her ballet teacher to sort out. So fingers crossed, Helen. Erin, more hip flexors like in split position. Oh, okay. So Erin, you're talking about more range of movement in the hip flexors in order to get into the splits. Got it. Okay. Yes, we can work on that. In fact, I run a stretch class every single Monday, and we were working on that exact same thing today. Because of course, for the front splits, you need flexibility in the hamstrings, but you also need flexibility in the hip flexor. If you don't have flexibility in the hip flexor, you're never going to get into the front splits. In fact, there is the challenge, remember, Erin, inside backstage. One of the challenges is towards the splits. So if that is something you specifically want to work on right now, you could go back to that challenge and work on that challenge on your own within my input. Happy to help you inside the group with that. And you can work on that on your own, because there are specific stretches to get down a little bit further in there. Also, Erin, can you remind me, because I'm going to forget as soon as I get off this, that there's also a lot of work in terms of flexibility, increasing range of movement that we can do, and it's not what you would expect. So there are lots of different techniques to help with range of movement, but specifically coming into the splits, that are sort of all body involved. So a lot of work with pressure point massage, that kind of thing, that you can do on your own at home, that I teach regularly every week here. So that's something that we can incorporate into backstage. So Helen, Erin, if you remind me, we'll work on that. Maria, I would love to do your actual real classes. In real life, Maria. I'm based in Hertfordshire in the UK. And so it's a question of how far away people are, and this is why I went online in the first place. And I teach Silver Swans classes, the RAD Silver Swans classes on a Friday, and some of those ladies are travelling for an hour and a half to get to my classes. It's amazing. Hopefully they won't always have to do that, because there will be more Silver Swans teachers. I was part of the pilot program when they were first trialling it. I was one of the Silver Swans teachers. So, but last September they rolled it out to all teachers. So that's great. The Silver Swans classes, they are traditional ballet classes. They're for the over 55s. If anyone's watching this and you are inspired to go and do a ballet class, but you're worried about age groups and things, if you're kind of in that age, any time in your 50s, 60s, my eldest is 87, you can go on the RAD website and search for Silver Swans, and there's an interactive map in there, and you can find a teacher, a qualified RAD Silver Swans teacher near your area if that's something you want to do. Any other questions while I am here? Otherwise, enjoy your hip flexor workouts, stretches. And tomorrow we are day 9 in the challenge, which is very exciting. Only 2 days left. So if any of you have got any questions about the remaining workouts or the backstage membership, please let me know. Marie, you're in West Dorset. Oh no! But you're going to join the online group. Amazing. Well, it will feel like we're close together anyway, Maria. And every month we do a live class together, which is fantastic. I have a big screen set up in my studio here, so when people come on, I can see you, I can tell you to breathe and drop your shoulders and all of that fun stuff, and you can see me and follow along and meet all the other ladies. So yeah, brilliant, Maria. If you join, then we will meet virtually more, in person, as it were, face to face, virtually, if that makes sense. All right, thanks, Erin. Yeah, but do remind me, please, Erin, because when I get off this call, I have to go and do something else, and that will go out of my head. But flexibility, there's tons of stuff that we can do on that, and it's really, really cool. Okay, everyone, enjoy the last 2 days of the challenge. Keep me posted. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Don't be shy. And I am live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. to answer all your questions about backstage, to talk even more about what we're doing inside backstage and how you can become part of that. And if you've got any questions, that's the time to ask me. And then on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, you're going to meet some of the backstage members, which is really exciting. They're going to come on and you can ask them anything. They're going to chat with you about their experience before backstage, why they joined, how they're finding it, and they'll be honest with you. We all have our challenges from time to time, but they will talk to you a little bit more about that, and you can ask them as many questions as you like. So that's Wednesday at 9 o'clock, but you'll get reminders for all this as well. So that's when I'll next see you, unless you've got any more questions. So I hope you all have a lovely evening. Hi, Wendy. I hope you have a lovely evening too. And I will speak to you all very soon. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.